everybody, and welcome back to Southeast Iowa Video Network's Community Profiles, powered by KCTC. I am your host, Greta Clemens, and I am excited to be joined today with Darren Brown with Tribulation and Trust Ministry here in Washington. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, you bet. It's good to be here.
Yeah, on this very cold day.
It is a little chilly outside.
It's nice and warm in here, though, as most of you guys know, so we'll be sweating by the end of it, but we're excited to have you here. So why don't we, I know you've been on before, but how about we do a quick introduction of who you are?
Okay, so I'm Darren Brown, as you said, and I am the director of Tribulation and Trust Ministries. Basically, Tribulation and Trust Ministries is the umbrella ministry that oversees the Lighthouse Center, our local homeless emergency housing shelter, and then the Storehouse food pantry, and then we use the Master's Hand thrift store to fund all of that, and I kind of direct it all and make sure everything happens.
Awesome. So are you originally from here? Are you from Washington?
No, ma'am. I live in Wayland, Iowa with my family, and I'm not originally from there either. I grew up out west in Idaho in the west, and I was transplant out here years ago. I've been here a little over 20 years now.
Okay.
It was when I came to this neck of the woods, I wasn't a good guy. I had made a lot of choices and ended up in prison, and I bad choices. And then through all of that, when I was released from that, I just stayed and ended up meeting my wife and my kids, and God had made it clear that there was work to be done right here.
Very cool.
So been doing it ever since. And that while I was in prison is when I gave my heart to Christ.
Awesome.
And that changed me.
That's great. And then you've just poured that into everything else you've done, which is very cool.
Just poured it back into the community because I come to understand truly what salvation means and what that was to me. And I want other people to have the same victory that I have and be able to have the same quality of life.
Wow. So is that what got the name Tribulation and Trust, or how did you come up with that?
That's how that came together because in this world, Jesus says in the scriptures, he says, in this world, I tell you these things so you'll have hope. In the world, you're going to have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Tribulation is a part of our life. It's just what it's going to be. You're going to have it in some form or another. And I had my share of it. And the answer to the tribulation is trust. You got to trust in God. And when you trust in God, he will get you through to the other side. And yes, so that's how it came about.
That's perfect. So when you started this all in Washington, what was kind of the first thing you did?
So the first thing was the homeless shelter.
Okay.
I had been working in a ministry out in Pennsylvania. My wife's family is from Wayland, and we had moved to Pennsylvania. And then my wife needed to come back and help take care of her family. They were dealing with some cancer and different things. And so we moved back to Iowa, and I was just kind of seeking God, looking to see what is it that Darren's going to do. And then God showed me that there was some people here in town meeting, talking about homeless. They had a homeless problem here in Washington. And so we started meeting on that. And God just kind of gave me a clear picture of what could be done and how it needed to be done and to start doing it. And so I tackled it, and it just came together. And we've been in existence 5 years now.
Gosh, has it really?
It's been 5 years.
God, I remember when you opened it, and I can't believe that was 5 years ago.
Yes. And so, and it's been good. It's been a really good 5 years. It's been slowly but surely coming around to what the vision is, and we'll continue to keep working on that. It's just been really good. And
where I know it used to be like a youth center, or where's the homeless shelter?
Right, so
located?
It's at 604 South Iowa Avenue. It was the old Berean church at one time. It was another church prior, school in its original days.
Oh, I didn't
It was
know that.
one of the first schools here in Washington, and then it was a youth center. It was also a Gracie May Advocate Center at one time.
Yeah.
They've used it for different things. It was empty for a lot of years before we took it, and we don't own it. We just rent it and kind of upkeep it and keep it using, but that's where the shelter's at.
I think when you opened, I was kind of surprised. I was like, I don't feel like I'm from here, and I grew up here, and I never knew there was a homeless problem. So it was very eye-opening to me to see such a need for something like that.
Right, and it's still this day and age society, the way it is with the drug and alcohol problems and so on and so forth. There's still a need for it, and people are in debt. They're living in this debt cycle, and it's hard. People are having a hard time making it, and so there's still a huge need.
Yeah. So if anyone listening maybe is seeking a shelter or know somebody that may need a shelter? What are the qualifications?
They just got to be from the Washington County and surrounding
Okay.
area, or have a tie to the Washington County surrounding. There's got to be a reason that they're here.
Okay.
And so that's the main qualification, and then the need is the other qualification. Being willing to come in, you can stay up to 2 years, but we typically put you on a 45-day thing at first,
Okay.
to get to see if you're interested in what we have to offer, because everything that we offer is Christ-based. It's going to be Christ-based teaching, so on and so forth. Not everybody's open to that.
Right.
And so typically to do the long term, you got to be open to that. Because I found in my life that when I gave my heart to Christ, those first 2 years of study were probably the most important. And if I could until you go to prison, you don't realize you can put your life on hold for a couple of years and still survive.
Yeah.
But when you put your life on hold, and if you would get into that and get into the scriptures and really study it for 2 years, it's amazing the change that it can have on your mind. But you really have to apply yourself.
Yeah. So what do you all offer there at the homeless shelter?
So we do a lot of counseling, one-on-one counseling with me. You get that.
With you, is that what you said?
Yes,
okay,
with me.
awesome.
Typically,
Yeah.
I don't have any other really qualified. I have some that kind of can help a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's other pastors in town that step in and help,
Sure.
depending on what needs to be done. We also do some financial counseling, help people with financial counseling. Try to help people reclaim their driver's licenses. Those are some of the big steps, the first steps to get them back, get them into the workforce. We hire them at the master's hand if they show that they've got a little bit of potential, and we help train them in job skills and so on and so forth, trying to get them to where they can go get a good job somewhere and hold it. Because this day and age, getting a job isn't hard. It's keeping the job after you get it. That's what you got to excel
Yeah.
at.
Awesome.
So it's just general life skills, and all of that's wrapped within your relationship with God and Him having an interest in your personal life.
Okay.
And you can give stuff to people all day long, and they'll take it. But if you want them to be self-sustainable, you got to teach them how to sustain.
That's great. That's great that you offer all of that. Yeah. Do you offer like meals? Do they get fed there?
Yes, so they get for sure 2 meals a day.
That's
they
nice.
can have 3 if they pack one, if they're willing to do the little extra work in the evening and pack a meal,
Yeah.
so on and so forth, then they would get 3.
Okay.
But they do for sure get breakfast and they get dinner. They come in the shelter anytime after 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And then they have a curfew, got to be in by 8. There ain't no reason to be out after that unless you're at like a AA meeting or a church function or you're doing something constructive. And then they leave in the morning they leave by 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And then they go out, and we don't just let them sit around in the shelter all day and
Sure.
do nothing. So they have to go out. Typically what we encourage them to do is if it's cold out or whatever and you don't want to just go do it, if you can't find a job, come over to the master's hand. You can donate some time over there. They're required to donate at least 10 hours a week over there.
Okay.
Because that's what's paying for their bill. That's what's paying for their stay, everything there. If you appreciate it, you pour back into it a little bit.
Sure.
Try to teach them that type of stuff.
Are you guys full, or do you have?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not full because we've tightened the borders down. If I opened it up, we'd be full.
Yeah.
But one of those, if you build it, they will come kind of scenarios.
Yeah.
And the city doesn't really want me opening it wide open to other communities. And so we I say Washington County and surrounding areas. So like we would take people from Wellman and Kelowna and Riverside and different places like that. I typically don't take anybody from Iowa City. Sometimes I might take someone from Mount Pleasant or Fairfield because neither one of them have the services, but those are kind of right on the edge. It's got to kind of be a extreme situation, something or other.
Awesome. So you have the Lighthouse, which is the homeless shelter, and then you have 2 other entities, we'll say.
Right. So we have the Storehouse food pantry, which is a way that we pour thousands of dollars into the community in food. We typically serve between 50 and 70 families a week in the food pantry. They would take, on the average, $50 to $150 worth of food home every week when they do that. From meat, milk, eggs, just depends on what we have in stock, vegetables, canned goods, bakery items, all kinds of different stuff there. That comes through HACAP, a lot of it. They're our provider for a lot of that food. And then we get some from Midwest Food Bank out of Peoria. and we go make a trip. In fact, he's going over there today to pick up a load, but every week we make a trip to Peoria and bring food back for that. Okay. And then there's local Dollar Generals and a few of the other stores that help us out as well, Hy-Vee. And so those are all good things. They work through a program called Feeding America that we're partnered with.
Gotcha.
And so that all works to help supply the food. Our job is to get it into the families. And so families would come, they call, they make an appointment, and then they come and we meet with them and stuff and encourage them and just try to connect with them.
Does this happen at the Lighthouse? Or
it happens at the Master's Hand.
Okay.
On the east corner of the building. There's a sign, and you'll see it. It says the Storehouse. There's a paved parking spot there, and you just make an appointment there and go there and get your food.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you guys have like a Facebook website in case anyone is interested?
I do have we have Facebook pages and so on and so forth that we talk about a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
And then I have a website which is www.tribulationandtrust.com.
Okay.
So there's that website they can go to and get some information. And we mostly, if you know where the Master's Hand thrift store is, you go there and you can get help.
Yeah.
Because that's the other. I mean, the other things that we do, and you would go there and meet with me for this is sometimes we help people with rent. There are people getting a bind. They have a car break down and hit a deer. Something rather. All of a sudden, that just changes your whole world because now you have an unexpected expense. Takes a little bit for the insurance to come in. There's just things that happen, and so we try to help. We can help with water bills or electric bills and rent sometimes. And so when families need that service, they can call me and meet with me, and we usually get that set up and go with that too. That's another thing that we do.
That's great. I didn't realize you guys did all that. I knew about Master's Hand. I knew about the Lighthouse, but I didn't know about the food pantry.
Right.
And all that
So we do.
stuff.
We do a lot. So I mean, in that, when you last year in 2024, we put $63,000 back in the community for just paying rents and electric and stuff and so on and so forth like that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
been
cool.
phenomenal what it does. I mean, the Master's Hand thrift store it was God's vision, and He showed it to me, and He basically showed me what He had done through the Quarter Maybe More store in Mount Pleasant, which is a similar deal. And then I'd always think about Goodwill and what they do, and there's got to be money in it. They keep doing it, right? There's got to be some way of doing this. And as it all came together, to me, it's just beautiful. We really try to keep our prices low. It's not about, when the community backs us like it is, it's not about whether we have enough stuff. The volume of the stuff just keeps coming, right?
People have the things, yeah.
Right. So we don't necessarily need to make the most money off of it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of keep our prices pretty low for that reason. And then that way it moves. And it just keeps moving, and then the more pieces move, the better money we make. And then we get a lot of everyday people. There's some people who come every day, and some of those people are reselling items and stuff. That doesn't bother me. Yeah. I'm getting what I get out of it. You go resell it for whatever you can get out of it. You know, a lot of times somebody will come through the store and they'll see an item and they'll say, "Darren, that's a valuable item. You can get a lot out of that." I said, "That's great. Why don't you buy it and resell it, and we'll be good."
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so that supports the community in a lot of ways that people don't realize. I mean, one, it provides a place for people to get good items at a cost-effective price. So it helps with budgeting, and it helps with a lot of different things there. And then it puts all this money back into the emergency housing shelter. It puts money back into the food pantry and helps people that way. And then it also helps with the rents and so on and so forth. And so it offers a place in the community for people to do their community service, different things, because we need volunteers all the time. There's just a lot of good things that it does for the community that people don't really think about.
Yeah, I didn't realize all of that. So I'm learning something new. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll chat a little bit more about Master's Hand and a few other things.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Come visit us at Purposefully You Boutique and Home, Feel amazing in our comfy casual clothing styles with new inventory arriving weekly. Explore our unique home decor and delightful candle scents. We're conveniently located just 1 block north of the downtown square.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Bring the kids, share the memories, celebrate 75 years of traditions at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Relive the magic of steam engines, antique cars, and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Whether it's your first visit or a cherished tradition, you'll enjoy the delicious foods, the thrill of an Old West shootout, and the excitement of nightly grandstand entertainment. For 75 years, this has been the place where memories are made at the 2025 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 28th through September 1st in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for checking in to Southeast Iowa Video Network's Community Profiles. I have been chatting with the Director of Tribulation and Trust Ministry, Darren Brown, and we have been chatting about the emergency housing, the Lighthouse, the food pantry, as well as the Master's Hand. So where is the Master's Hand located?
So it's located at 980 West 5th Street,
Okay.
Here in Washington.
Yeah, which is like right across from like the Key Wash.
Right
Trail.
across from the Key Wash Trail out
and
there.
by the
You
Y.
bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
just past the Y. Yep.
It's huge too. It's a lot of
it's a big blue building.
Big blue building.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were chatting just a little bit ago about how much it pours back into the community. You said $63,000 this last year, which is incredible.
Yeah, that would be just in cash. That the value of food would probably be another $150,000 on top of it, just in the food value,
which is incredible.
But, yeah, the $63,000 would just be cash. The other would be the other value.
Gotcha. Yeah. So anybody can donate to Master's Hand, correct? It's
yes.
kind of like a Goodwill. You can come and drop things off.
Yeah, we take a lot of things. I mean, we don't take computer screens and some other little items, but nothing. Most things, if it's got any kind of resale value, we'll take it.
Okay.
I mean, we've sold a bucket of screws before. You know, you just never know what somebody might want or have a use for, and if the price is right, they're going to take it. And so it's just a matter of there's quarters, dimes, and nickels laying in your house, and we're just picking them up and we're putting them out on the floor and putting it all together for the community.
So you have all sorts of things: clothes, shoes.
Yep. Appliances,
Okay.
furniture, kitchenware, bedding, just all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Sometimes my wife always goes and shops there before she ever goes anywhere else. She goes.
I'd only been in there once, and I was like, "Gosh, this is huge! I need to come in here, more."
Right.
And what's really nice about Master's Hand is it pours right back into Washington community, whereas Goodwill may or may not. I don't really know 100%, but Master's Hand for sure does, and so it's a really good place to check out if you're looking for something, or to drop your stuff off if you have. Some nice things you can get rid of. So what hours is Master's Hand open?
It's open from 9 to 6, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week. Yeah.
Perfect.
And, it's really, I mean, we're there a little earlier and a little later, but that's when we typically open the doors.
Gotcha. Awesome. So that's one way people can kind of help your organization out. Is there some other ways people can get involved?
Yeah, so at the Master's Hand, volunteers are key to our success. We spend of our budget and what we spend in expenses, we're looking at, I got 16 employees, thousands of dollars. Half of our budget is just payroll.
Yeah.
Which is good because it's employing some people that haven't been able to be employable in other areas, and we're teaching them trades. But it's not something that I really want to be dependent upon. I can shave that a little bit in areas, and I think if we can build a little bigger volunteer base, and that's kind of where we're at. We do have some. I've got at least at least a dozen good, solid volunteers that come on a regular basis that are great people, and they kind of get in their niche. And I say, well, this will work for you. I've got one lady, all she does is work on jewelry.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
what she does. And I have a little room built for her, and she's just in there, and she does her jewelry. And
Gotcha.
I've got other ladies that do the clothing, or they do the blankets, or they do shoes, or they do whatever they do. They give them a niche. We find a spot for them, and then that becomes their play to give back to the community. I've got a guy that works in tools, and that's all he does is work in tools and price tools. And I got another guy that does electronics and other things, and we find a little spot for them, and then that's kind of where they go. So, and we have lots of spots open, so we're always looking for other volunteers in that. So in the Master's Hand, that volunteer hours is the biggest thing.
Okay.
I love volunteers.
Okay. So if you need some volunteer hours, or you just love volunteering or looking for some opportunities, Master's Hand that has a lot.
In the Storehouse, ways you can help there is donating food, canned goods, boxed dinners. People don't cook from scratch as much as they once used to, and so they don't really know how to use some of that other stuff. We take it, but we find that it doesn't move as fast typically as the other stuff does. So, but sponsor a food drive. If you're an organization or you're part of something and you want to sponsor a food drive, that'd be great. Any way that we can get extra food is phenomenal. I could also use somebody to come in and volunteer there and stock shelves, or if you have a heart to do ministry and like to meet people and want to share Christ with people, that's the place to do it. We typically pray with everybody, and we try to share Christ with them. And so if somebody has a desire and doesn't know where to find people to talk to, I've got people you can talk to, and you can be part of ministry. And then at the shelter, the same thing that we can use is meals. Somebody could sponsor a meal, bring a meal in, or they can come and teach Bible studies in the evening. We have hour-long Bible studies, and I always need volunteers and people to come and just do that. And there's cleaning that could be done there, different things that we can always work out. But there's just a huge need for the community to get involved. I want the community to kind of own what's going on and be more involved in it.
Yeah.
Someday I'm going to retire. I don't know when, but someday.
So you need someone to step in and learn the ropes. So
right.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I don't think people maybe realize how many opportunities are available in this town, especially within your organization itself. So tons of resources and tons of volunteer opportunities for everybody. So that's great.
Yeah, I envision that it could be here forever in the community, and it could always be running. And it's not mine.
Yeah,
it's run by a board. There's a board that oversees it.
Oh, okay.
We have a 7-member board. I started it. It was the vision that God gave me, and so on and so forth. And I do a lot of stuff. Yeah. But I'm not going to be here forever, believe it or not. I'm going to go home to Jesus someday, and I would like it to continue on and be able to. So I'm trying to build it to where it would continue on and it would stay going, and other people could run it and manage it. And so that's the idea and hope.
It's really cool to see how much it's grown in the last 5 years, which I didn't realize it was. I probably would have guessed 3 years ago, but
yes,
that was been a busy 5 years for you.
It has been amazing how it's grown, and it has been a busy 5 years. And I just hired a new store manager, so they're in place, and I don't have to really. I'm not as the store near as much. And that's been good. Yeah. And we also have a new couple that's at the Lighthouse that's overseeing the Lighthouse, and so that's good. Nice. Because it takes pressure off of me in both spaces and kind of lets me go to the basketball game and watch my son play basketball or do different things. Yeah. I like to I got a family.
You got to do the family stuff.
I like to go do that stuff. I just miss it sometimes. So it's been good to be able to get back to some of that.
Very cool. Well, is there anything else you would like to add or tell the people?
I just want you to know that it takes a community. We need everybody, and we need to all work together. If we want to have a good quality lifestyle here in Washington and the Washington County area, we need you, and we need each other, and we got to work together to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And so I just encourage you to find a spot and find a niche that you can be involved.
Yeah, definitely a lot of opportunity, and it's great to hear everything that you guys have and offer, and for all sides of the community. So awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
It's been great and very informational. I didn't know about a lot of this, so it was very informational for me as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will link their Facebook below so you can have their contact information if you wanted to reach out to volunteer or had any other questions about anything we talked about today. But other than that, thanks again for joining us, Darren.
Hey, you bet.
And we will see you guys next week.
All right.